In this part, we will talk about advancements in the plant tissue culture. As we have seen, Haberland as a father of plant tissue culture who proposed concept of in vitro cell culture or plant tissue culture. In the next attempt, Hanning in 1904 successfully cultured embryos from several cruciferous species, that is the family of mustard. So people started to grow plants or plant cells or their organs under in vitro condition, and because Haberland gave this new pathway and people started to work along that line, and Hanning in 1904 he tried to culture the cruciferal embryos and he was successful. In 1922, Kotte, German biologist, successfully cultured pea and maize root tips, and he was able to maintain them for long time, like 2 weeks, but he failed to subculture them. In the similar time period, American biologist Robbins in 1922, so he also did the culturing of the maize root tips, and he was able to maintain them successfully for several days, and he was able to culture these cultured root tips of the maize, that is he did the subculturing. So these are the advancements because of the line suggested by the Haberland. People started to work and they were successful. Until now there is no discovery of any plant hormone, even though people started to grow the plant cells or plant parts on the media and they were successful. So this is one of the important achievement in the field of the plant tissue culture. Next, so he is a Fritz Warmolt Wendt, Dutch botanist. He discovered the hormone auxin, which is responsible for the elongation of the cell and plasticity of the cell wall. So because of his discovery, it was possible to grow the cells under the culture conditions. So regarding this his discovery of the auxin, that is what we say the indole acetic acid, he discovered first, and later on people started to use this hormone in the tissue culture media for the growth of the cells or the tissues or the organs under the controlled condition. The important discovery, this is the structure of the hormone IAA, that is indole acetic acid. So this hormone is responsible for the elongation of the cell and cell wall, for the cell wall plasticity. So this is the important discovery. Then many people during the after that started to utilize this type of the hormones and other supplements into the media to check the effect of different components on the plant growth. And American biologist in 1934, American biologist White, he introduced the vitamin B as a growth supplement in the tissue culture media for tomato root tip. 30s decade was very important in the view of plant tissue culture, because there were many advancements during this decade. People actually achieved the cells can grow. So what was not possible to the Haberland, or Haberland failed to do so. So same thing was achieved during this decade. White, he successfully cultured cells under the control conditions. So he used Nicotiana cells and he was able to grow them under cultured conditions. And as a result of that, so he was successful in the growing the cells under in vitro conditions. Not only White, during the same time, Gothard, he was also successful in the establishment of the growing cultures with the cambium cells of certain tree species like Acer, Salix, populus. So these species he used, and from these species he isolated cambial cells, and he grown these cells on the media, and he observed the growth of the cells or unorganized growth of the cells, what we say the callus, so under the controlled conditions. So next, the Nopcot, he was a Dutch scientist, and he successfully established continuously growing cultures of the carrot in the same time era. So during 1934 to the 39, so these three people so were able to grow the cells under controlled conditions, what was not achieved by Haberland. So the time period, if you see, almost more than 35 years time span was there, and after that, so there was this achievement. Because of that, so this decade is very important in the field of the plant tissue culture. Next, then the next decade, that is 1940s, people started to use the different other materials as a supplement for the growth of the plant cells under the cultured conditions. And as a part of that, in 1941, Van Orbeek was first to add a coconut milk for the cell division of the Datura cultures, and he achieved success with the help of this coconut milk. And because of that, this era, particularly 1940s decade, was very important. So people started to use different type of the extracts, like meat extract, like a plant extract or vegetable extract or fruit extract or yeast extract or beef extract. So such kind of the extracts they tried to use, and because it contained many different type of the things or the complex things, and that may help, they thought about that it may help for the growth of the plant, and they started to add, and they achieved the success. So this is one of the important, what we say, the discovery in the field of the plant tissue culture. Then in 1946, Ball, he noted that the plants of the lupins can be grown using the shoot tip, and so he did the shoot tip culture, and he was successful in that. So see how the advancements are there in the field of the plant tissue culture by using different compositions in the media. So people are trying to do or trying to develop the technique, and technique is developing. So until now, so people are using only auxin. So one of the plant growth hormone discovered in 1920s. So in 1926 went what discovered, so people are using in their media. Along with that, they are using other compounds like different extracts. So next advancement in the field of this plant tissue culture is important advancement, I will say, by Morrell and Martin in 1952. So for the application of the for the removal of the virus from virus in or the to obtain virus free plants, he did certain kind of the micrografting, and he was able to obtain virus free plants by this technique. So this is also one of the important discovery in the field of the plant tissue culture. So 1950s is also one of the important decade in the field or in the development of the field of the plant tissue culture, because many more discoveries which are very basic discoveries so are there in this decade. We'll see that. So in 1954, Moore was first to break callus tissue. So see, callus scientists were able to produce callus in the 1939 or around that time, and Moore was able to develop from that callus the suspension culture, or he was able to isolate the single cell. So this is also one of the important discovery. Then this is one of the important discovery during the 1955. Skoog and Miller discovered another plant growth hormone which is very important in the field of the plant tissue culture, which is used for the division of the cells, right? So plant cells can elongate by using auxin, but cells divide by if the kinetin is present or cytokinin is present. So kinetin was discovered by Skoog and Miller in 1955, and this is one of the important discovery. the same people, Skoog and Miller, in 1957, they were able to give another concept, that is the hormonal regulation of the auxin and cytokinin on the growth of the in vitro grown plant cells or the tissues or organs. And they were able to show that low auxin and high cytokinin content gives the development of the shoot, as you can see in the picture. So the shoot means there was a more amount of the cytokinin and less amount of the auxin is present in that media. Whereas when there is a more auxin and less amount of the cytokinin, it gives the formation of the root. So see, from the unorganized mass, there is a formation of the certain type of the organs. So this is one of the important discovery. So Skoog and Miller gave this idea that the hormonal control, that is auxin and cytokinin control on the growth and development of the cell. So or the how the cell is going to be developed. Then in 1959, Reinert and Stewart were able to regenerate embryos from the callus clumps. So see, in 57, Skoog and Miller showed that using hormonal control, it is possible to develop the roots or the shoots using this hormonal control. And in 1959, Reinert and Stewart, so they were able to develop the embryo from the callus. So unorganized mass is converted to into the organized mass or organized structure. So this is also very important discovery. So it is nothing but the somatic embryos are formed. So another development in the field of the plant tissue culture is during 1960, that is by Cocking. He was able to isolate a plant cell without cell wall, that is what we say the protoplast, by means of the enzymatic degradation. During the same time, Bergman filtered cell suspension and isolated single cells by plating technique. So these discoveries are very important because there are many more applications of this what we say the protoplast isolation, culture and fusion. We will talk about that in later. So this person, that is Panchanan Maheshwari, along with his student Kanta Kusum, he developed the test tube fertilization technique. So that was also one of the important discovery during this this year 1960. And this discovery is very important for us because he is a Indian botanist. So this was also one of the important discovery. During the 1962, Murashige and Skoog were able to, or they developed the particular media. They checked the effect of the different salts concentration on growth and development of the plant under in vitro conditions. They did many more experiments and they were able to show that. So, or they developed the new medium which is universally accepted in the medium nowadays, known as a MS medium or Murashige and Skoog medium, in which there is a large amount of the or the higher concentration of the inorganic salt is there. So this is also one of the important discovery. Then again Guha and Maheshwari, so these two Indian scientists, so they were able to produce first haploid plant from the pollen grains of the Datura. So they did anther culture, and what we say the pollen grain which is there present in the anther, which is a single cell, pollen is a single cell. So these different pollens are there. So they use that anther, they cultured it, and they were able to develop the embryoids or haploid plants from that. So this was also one of the important discovery. And they were again from the India. So this is the Indian contribution in the field of the plant tissue culture. Later on in 1970s, Power and his co-workers successfully achieved protoplast fusion. So we have seen during 1960s there was a isolation of the protoplast was possible. In 1970, Power and his co-workers successfully fused the protoplast, and but they were not able to grow that cells into the whole plant. But in 1971, Takabe and his co-workers regenerated first plant from protoplast fusion. So you are able to see tomatoes and potatoes to the same plant in the below picture. So that is also one of the important discovery. In 1972, Carlson produced first interspecific hybrid of Nicotiana tabacum by protoplast fusion. Then in 1974, Renard introduced biotransformation in plant tissue culture. That is, plant cells are able to convert one type of the compound into the another type of the compound. This technique is known as a biotransformation, and under controlled condition it is possible to grow the cells and use that cells to convert such a type of the less important or economically important compounds into the more economically important compound, the technique known as a biotransformation. So that was introduced by the Renard. So this is also one of the important discoveries. So these are the different advancements in the field of the plant tissue culture during these years. So this is also one of the important discovery in 1981, Larkin and Scorp. So they were able to introduce the term somaclonal variations. And this is nothing but when the plants are grown under the in vitro condition, because of the cultural conditions, because of the chemicals used in the culture, so they may affect the purpose of the production of the large amount of the plantlets. What we say the clonal propagation, the aim of the tissue culture in the initial time was a clonal propagation, but they found that some plants which are grown by means of the tissue culture gives different type of the variants or different type of the plants. As you can see, the different type of the strawberries, you are able to see the shape and color is different. So that is because of the variations. So this is a kind of the genetic variation, and that cause formation of such a type of the fruits, because this variation is there in the growing cells, and these growing cells are there or these plants were obtained by means of the plant tissue culture. So they noted this, and it became one of the important application of the plant tissue culture. So these are the some advancements in the field of the plant tissue culture. Still today, so there are many more advancements happened in the field of the plant tissue culture. Like what we say, now it is possible to insert a gene from another plant or another animal or another what we say the organism or bacteria into the plant, and because of this potential of the plant cell to develop into the new plant. So because of that, we will get the new plant which is having a different character. So these are some recent advancements, what we say the transformation or genetic transformation. So that is also possible because of the this tissue culture technique. So these were some important advancements in the field of the plant tissue culture.